Hey, what's up, everybody? BDO 44 coming at you with another video. All right, so if y'all been following BDF 44, you know that I have a certain level of frustration with my basketball club right now. You know that. And what I want to do is my very best not to focus on that because I've done enough of that. So, what I want to do is get back to analyzing the game. Now, if I start spazzing and start getting upset, that's just part of it because I literally don't believe in what I'm looking at right now. I don't believe in it, and I can't believe it. Both that and this. But what I'm saying is, for the time being, we still want to analyze basketball. There's still young players on the team we want to focus on. There's still a team to root for. And so we're going to root for our team. But understand that at any moment they want to blow this thing up, they have my complete support. I just want to put that out there before we get started. All right, so now we got a game with the New Orleans Pelicans coming up. And the one thing that I wanted to see this group figure out was how best to manage the three-point arc. We had been attempting a lot more shots than we should have been, obviously, to start the season. Much has been said about our woes. But in this previous game, we shot 46%, only attempted 33s, and that was a good recipe for success. The things that the Lakers usually don't have success in are things that they ultimately had success in this previous game against the Nuggets. We out-rebounded them. We kept our turnovers low. We shot a nice percentage from three. We shot a fair percentage from the field. And winning that rebounding total is so important because we rarely do. So that's something I just wanted to say. We basically beat them in most of the categories that we had been struggling in. So the incremental changes or progress that you want to see from a team that has been struggling is what you've been seeing from the Los Angeles Lakers. Little subtle progressions getting better each and every time. So I'm very excited about that as it pertains to this group. One of the things that I was looking at was just obviously bringing Russell Westbrook off the bench and how well it's worked for Darvin Ham. Getting him to buy into what needs to be done there. He had a really good game for himself. His last game coming off the bench was more so efficient than we'd seen him be. Really attacking, connecting on layups and things of that nature, getting guys involved, playing at a rhythm that was comfortable for him. We saw good synergy down there with some of the guys. Troy Brown, you could see him and Troy play well off one another. So on and so forth. So we just want to continue to see Russell Westbrook get settled in with the unit that he's going to be running. And, we like what we saw there. Also, Austin Reeves had a more productive game against the Nuggets there. Saw a couple threes fall. His three has been falling pretty well for the last couple games for us. One of the reasons why our percentage has increased over the last several games is because his is starting to fall. But he's starting to help us in other areas as well, continuing to, just be the intangible player that he is, helping people with the various plays and assists categories and things of that nature, defensively, rebounding. He's just really helping his team, so we need him to continue to work hard on the defensive end and let that come together as well. Obviously, Lonnie Walker's been phenomenal. He was a huge part of what was going on in that game. 18 points, a lot of good plays for us, a lot of slashing at the rim, hit a couple threes if I'm not mistaken. Very, very, very good game from Lonnie, but he did kind of go down at the end of the game with some type of injury that had him go into the locker room, so I'm hopeful that he'll be fine. I did not see him on the injury report, so we're expecting him to be all right. Also, Anthony Davis is day-to-day. I'm not really sure if that means he's playing or not playing, but that's what he's listed as of right now. We know he's had some issues with the back, of course, and has been kind of going at it, trying to push himself through it, but resting him is always something the Lakers want to consider, even though there's been a couple days since our last game, so I'd imagine that takes into account as well. LeBron James I saw listed as day-to-day as well. I don't know what it is that he's dealing with, but I do expect him to lace up tonight unless something happened. What else is going on there? So that's really the gist of just what I'm seeing in my team. I like what I'm seeing in regards to us continuing to get better. Obviously, congratulations to Darvin Ham and getting his first victory. I did not take that into consideration when reacting to what I was seeing in the locker room. But nevertheless, at the end of the day, I just don't like some of the other traits of this team. And I think when it really comes down to it, when we're celebrating individual accolades in the locker room, when we're 1-5, it's really irritating to me. It's more irritating to me to see Rob Pelinka in there than anyone else, though. I just think I don't want him celebrating this. You put this crap together. You know it ain't no good. You know you didn't put those guys out there with enough to win right now. You shouldn't be in the locker room even for a second celebrating anything, Darvin Ham, nothing, none of that. You should be as the president and GM somewhere on the phone trying to make sure this crap gets undone. So I just didn't like the image of him celebrating in that locker room, knowing what it is that I understand about why this team is assembled the way that it is. Absolutely not. But, you know, me getting on the team for celebrating in the locker room, if it's strictly about Darvin Ham celebrating his first win, I think it's warranted. But I wish I didn't see it because I didn't take to it well. Simply put, as a Laker fan, no, I don't, and I'm not gonna stand off that. I'm not gonna come down off that in any way. So if you're a Laker fan and you're like, Brandon, just let him be. Absolutely not. Would Kobe let him be? No, he would not. So I ain't gonna do it either. Individual accolades is trash when your team is garbage. Whether it's the coach, the players, anybody. No, we don't need to be talking about nothing individual. And I know that what Bron is about to be doing, obviously that's different, but is it different? I wish it weren't in his mind. The way I want him to handle that is, we suck. Thanks. Let's get back to work. That's what I want him to. That's how I want him to handle that. But that's not real. So whatever. At the end of the day, that's the point. Like, I want people to be passionate about this, like I am. And since I sense people are not, they're passionate about what they're doing while wearing our uniform, but they ain't passionate about wearing the uniform, and I have a problem with that. So, anyway, let's get back to what we're talking about. Tonight we have a game with the New Orleans Pelicans. And the New Orleans Pelicans are obviously, if you've been following me, a team that I believe in a great deal. Very, very deep. Good thing about them tonight, no BI. Yeah, we don't have to deal with our second overall pick that we threw away in trade for Anthony Davis, along with a bunch of other valuable stuff that we shouldn't have been giving away. But yes, he's going to be out tonight, so we don't have to worry about him initiating his wrath on us. However, another one of our kids that we threw away randomly for no damn reason, Larry Nance Jr. is going off for them. He's come back from injury and has been shooting the ball pretty well, along with everything else that he does very well for the team. He's playing well. You know, he's definitely stepped his game up and has really provided some strength off the bench and was the main guy off the bench for the New Orleans Pelicans in their game last. So, as I look at the Pelicans right now, I understand that first thing that popped off the box score for me, and looking at their previous game, Najee Marshall attempted 13 shots and several of them were three-pointers. If Najee Marshall is going to be their third or fourth most aggressive scorer, we're going to be seeing them put up probably about 130 points tonight. So we need to be very, very, very aware of how much firepower this team has. Obviously, they got Zion Williamson, the Zion Williamson, 6'6", basically 300 pounds, all muscle, coming at you with ridiculous amounts of ferociousness and strength. He's a good passer. He can hit the three-point shot. He's a fantastic dribbler of the basketball for his size. And obviously, he's probably the most powerful player in the league. So when you consider what it is that he's bringing to the table, you respect that it's going to be a tough task for our team to try to guard him tonight. Especially since we also have Jonas Valanciunas to consider, another massive human being with a lot of skills who can stretch the floor and rebound the ball. So if we don't match up with them, we're going to need Damian Jones tonight. We're going to need Anthony Davis tonight. We're going to need anybody who's big, Juan Toscano Anderson, Wenyen Gabriel. And we would be wise to treat this team similar to the way we treated the Minnesota Timberwolves in terms of matching up with size. Jones is going to be playing tonight for New Orleans Pelicans. I understand he had some type of hyperextension on the knee or something like that. From what I understand, he may be able to give it a go. So that's another defensive player with a lot of length. Someone who's going to be looking to block three-point shots, as we know. Someone who can stretch the floor himself, rebound the ball, dunk the ball, be absolutely disruptive defensively. So, you know, this is one of the most talented teams in the world right now. I honestly believe that. Dyson Daniels, their young rookie, he's had some injury issues to start his career. But the last time they threw him out there, he had like 3 steals and a bunch of other stuff to add to his assists, rebounds, points. He did pretty much everything in his first real full game and then sat for another couple games after that. Well, they're going to put him back out there tonight. So you can guess that the chances of him being productive are pretty good. He's a lottery picks. I think it was the 7th pick overall in the draft, and just so happened to be the guy that, another one of our picks that was in that Anthony Davis trade. So I expect him to show us a little something if he gets the minutes tonight, and I think he probably will get some minutes tonight. Devontae Graham, somebody who shoots the three very well. He started off the season pretty hot. With the minutes that he's been given, I've been seeing him pop off the screen for them. So we would be wise to understand that he can do big things at any moment. He's a guy that you don't expect to score but 9 points, but do understand that he can score 40. Like, he's that guy. Like Terrence Ross. Like, you don't expect him to do nothing like that every night, but there will be that one game where you're like, damn, he really just dropped like 8 threes on me. Don't let that be tonight. He's very, very capable of that, but you don't expect it. CJ McCollum, however, you do expect that from. And he's going to be shooting a lot, and he's somebody that you do expect to give you 40, especially if you don't play no defense. Good thing about our team is we play defense, but we're going to have to against him and his team because they shoot the ball and they shoot it a lot. Another guy that we obviously know can shoot the ball very well, Trey Murphy, Trigger the third. This dude is a problem. You're going to have to understand that this is going to be one of the future great shooters out there, if you ask me. And he's already very, very good at other things. He can get the rebounds. He can use his length to be defensive, and they're giving him the minutes to match what it is that he can now provide the team in his conditioning. So he's a regular rotation piece now, and the more he plays, the more you're going to realize that he's going to step forward as one of their most important players. And because he's like the third or fourth option, when he fully develops and CJ and BI and Zion are in place, Trigger's always going to have open shots. And that's why I think they can actually win the championship at some point, because you just can't have a shooter that great with open shots. That's what they got going on in Golden State with Klay Thompson and Jordan Poole. These super elite shooters who are going to be left alone out of sheer necessity because of the double teams that other players on the floor that they have are going to ultimately garner. It's just impossible. You cannot guard a team like that, especially when you got defenders on the floor like Jones and obviously we're talking about who else is on that team that plays D? Alvarado is another one of those super defensive players. I think he might be a little banged up. I know he shot very poorly in the last game, but do not expect him to do that tonight if he's available, and do expect for him to try his crap. We know his little move. Know it's coming. This dude likes to wait for the ball to be inbounded and pretend like he's not looking to snatch it, and he curls around, snatches it, and lays the ball up as you're inbounding it. Be very aware that he does this. It's one of his key signature moves, and he's excellent at it. So be careful. These are the type of things that I know. I just know this team is one of the best teams in the league. Their bench is not quite established from what I saw. They don't go as deep in their bench as they can. Some of their guys are missing from injury, etc. But their starting five, they're all stars, man. They're all stars. Each and every person in that starting lineup is a star. Whether it's today's star or tomorrow's star, they're all stars. So you got to understand that when you're going up against them and defend accordingly. So that's what I think of the New Orleans Pelicans, man. I would not be surprised if they're a top 5 team in the West or if they win the whole championship, but I definitely don't expect them to miss the playoffs. Not at all. Willie Green has a very good stranglehold on that team as it pertains to how they run the system. And Zion Williamson seems to be fitting it very nicely. Coming back from injury in the last game, he had 21 and 11, I believe it was. So I'd imagine with some days off, he will be right back out there to give us the same problem. So, it's going to be tough, man. Our team is not, on paper, supposed to be able to match up with them. But because we have Russell Westbrook coming off the bench, that dynamic, I think, is going to attack teams in some ways that they're not going to like. You can have a little 10-point lead on the Lakers if you're lucky enough to get one against our core. But then you got to deal with Russell Westbrook, who now has found synergy with that second unit. And if he's going to turn back into the Russell Westbrook he's capable of being in short spurts with that second unit, now you have to deal with an entirely different dynamic that no one ever really thought about dealing with the Lakers, even though it made the most sense the entire time, Frank Vogel. Anyway, nevertheless, you had to get Russell Westbrook to agree to it, and he never did until now. So thank God we had that going, and now we can make sense of our team for the time being. So as long as he's willing to do that and is continuing to run it the way that he is, keep him and LeBron James on the floor very sparingly together, see to it that they're not on the floor very much together, I think we'll be fine, man. Let Russell Westbrook have that second unit because it's working. Simply put, it's working. He's happy. I'm happy. Let it be. So that's what I think of the situation, man. All in all, this is a situation where I know that the team was celebrating in the locker room because of the victory for Coach Ham. But the reason why I was so upset about it is because I knew this game was coming up. You know what I mean? When you think like a Mamba, you know that you're showing that type of weakness to the opponent that's coming in. When you know they're better than you, It's dangerous. You know that you got a good chance of getting blown out just out of the sheer notion that you're weak, looking down the barrel of a real animal. And that's what I thought of. I'm like, yo, we're showing weakness, man. We're 1-5 and we're happy to get a victory. What is this? You know, we're 1-5 and we're celebrating individual accolades. What is this? I don't want this. And the organization is backing this. You got the officials from the organization backing this as well. Nah, I'm not with none of that. I'm sorry, Coach Ham. We want you to get a lot of wins. We'll celebrate a lot of wins. That first one is important because you're a rookie coach. But brother, I'm sorry. I'm just wired different. I'm weird. None of that is acceptable to me. I just want to see the Lakers get back to that Mamba mentality, be surgical about what we're doing. I think that was the point of them bringing Powell into the practice yesterday. I think a lot of Lakers at the top probably felt the same way I do. Just thought that it would be a good idea to bring one of our champs in there and just let people who are part of our organization know what it is that we respect, man. And that's really what it's about. It's not about shunning people for being themselves or not giving a rookie coach his excitement for getting his first victory, because that's a big deal, man. It's a hard thing to get a head coaching job as a black guy from where he's from. So that's a big deal, man. But at the same time, it's like, you know what job you got, right? You know where you came to. So we ain't going to be like everybody else. We ain't going to just look at stuff like, okay, we got our own way of doing things. And because we have our own way of doing things, we may look at certain things kind of funny before we understand them. We may say something. And so that's what that was for me. But now that I understand it, I'm still saying something. I don't like it. Individual accolades is trash. No more of that. We've been doing too much of that crap here in Laker Nation, and we got way too many legends above us who've accomplished too much for us to be that small-minded in what we're looking for. They didn't respect that crap. They were looking for championships, and that's all our players should be looking for too. Enough of this garbage. So that's what I have to say about that, and that is exactly how I feel, man. If we're celebrating anything, we're celebrating Caps and championships, Kobe and them championships, Magic and them championships, LeBron and the championships. That's all I care about. What are we minimalizing other guys because they weren't as talented? Because they didn't get the minutes? I don't think we ever even looked at it that way. Maybe I'm not supposed to, since we're in a world where we compare greatness to other things. It's like, because he's greater, he's more important. Because he's greater, he's worth more money. Because he's greater, he gets to live in a better home. Because it's like, what can you do for me? And the way I look at it is, that's not how I operate. You put on purple and gold, your family. Whether you're the ball boy, whether you're fans, whether you're the greatest player ever, or you're Robert Sacre. You're still one of ours. You might be the worst of ours, but you see, we bring him up all the time. And when we see him in the streets, we're going to say, what up, Robert? Because we love all of our Lakers, bro. All of them. And so it kind of feels weird when I look up in the rafters and I see no number 2. I look up, I don't see Derek Fisher. Where the hell's Derek Fisher? We didn't win a single championship without Derek Fisher being our point guard. Where is he? I look up, I don't see Michael Cooper. Where is Michael Cooper, bro? He's one of the best defenders of his time. We couldn't win a single championship without him. Where was he? That's what I'm saying. It's like, we respect excellence. But if we're going to respect excellence, can we get back to what excellence respects? Which is none of this me. Oh, my. I got it. Oh, they gave me this. Nah. What'd you take? What did you bring us back? I see one ring from this era. A lot of give me, support me. Why did you take this down? Put this up. No, none of that. I don't respect none of that. I'm a Laker fan. You know what that means? 17 NBA championships, no matter who's wearing a uniform. We all celebrate 17 NBA championships going after 18. You understand what I'm saying? I root for Son Ua. Do y'all even remember who that is? Mike Pemberthy. You understand what I'm saying? Travis Knight. Anthony Peeler. Sean Rooks, rest in peace. This ain't a game. I don't like how we're operating today. No. So that's what it's about, man. It's about getting away from this, how the Lakers have been behaving. If this was the only one of these that I saw in this era, it wouldn't be nothing. Because I know what it is. This is us celebrating Coach Ham in the locker room. But no, this ain't just the only time I've seen something like this where the team kind of betrayed what it is we about. The D12, please stay. We hated that. We rejected that. We told them we didn't want them to do that. They did it anyway because they were trying to keep him. And what did he do? He left. We wanted him to leave. He wasn't even playing that good. No disrespect, because we love him, man. He came back. We love him. But at the time, that was a relationship. Like, man, we ain't begging this dude to stay. Give us the cap space or trade him away for something we can get. We ain't like that. But the front office traded for him, and they didn't want it to be a mistake that they traded for him, so they begging him because it was in their best interest to beg him. It didn't represent us. That's what I'm rejecting. Not celebrating Coach Ham, but the overall notion that the stuff that's going on right now ain't about us. I don't like that. Kobe was about us. Magic was about us. Shaq was about us. Kareem was about us. Hell, they still are. So I don't know what Worthy. It's still about us. So the guys in place right now about themselves, and I'm supposed to be cool with that? Hell no, I ain't cool with that. BDF 44, I thank you all for watching. I'm out.